Hello everybody. Today I thought I'd try out using the Canon camera that I've used to take the far away pictures and well, do some videos with that because it'll be a little bit easier than opening my phone every time to start a video. So today it's the weekend yet again, thankfully, and we're going to try to get some projects done with the house as I try to do every weekend. So the first one that I'd like to do today, or I guess it doesn't really matter what order, but the things that I'd like to do today are in this room. I would like to get the outlets up and wired. I would like to take this paneling off of the wall, and the reason I want to take that down now, well, I want to take it down for multiple reasons, but the reason I want to take it down is I'm curious. In this room, if you look closely, you can see there used to be a door there, or at least there's a frame for it. You can kind of see it. Oh, it doesn't focus on anything because it can't have anything to focus on. But I think there used to be a door there, or they planned for it. You can see a bit more of a gap there at the bottom. So my guess is they were going to have a door there instead of here or something. I like to finally get a light in here that isn't this thing, so that there's an appropriate light in this room. So that would be good. Remedy this outlet situation. I'd also like to finally get rid of this wall, since this is a 3-day weekend. Boy, this thing has a lot of trouble focusing. It'll be a good chance to get rid of this wall. So that I'd like to do as well. So I'm not sure what one I'll start with first, but those are some of the things that I'd like to do today. Here's a look inside of the wall by the electrical panel. I took these down so I can have easier access to the top and bottom of the panel naturally, but thought we'd take a quick little look. I have no idea why they brought this down so far and then back up just to get to these outlets over here. Seems a little ridiculous to me. Of course, we have our grounding and all that stuff. We have this RV style outlet, at least that's what I believe it's for. And I believe this wire is only for up to 20 amps, but the outlet says up to 30, and I don't know much about RVs, so I'm not sure if that's right or not. And this is a switch for the light outside. It goes right there. I'm pretty sure it probably doesn't have an electrical box, judging by how this is done. So I'll need to get an electrical box for it. It's probably just screwed to the wall like the other light on the house was. Some type of grounding wires here that go, I don't really know where, but they all come to the ground here that goes outside. I'm assuming it has something to do with communications. Of course, we have the panel, and then we have this box here where they connect everything together before it heads out, so I'm not entirely sure why they did this, but maybe that's a standard. Like I say, I don't know everything about electrical. I know how to do the basics, but not sure why they did this. There's probably a reason though. And then you have all the wires going up and over and throughout the house. Looks like we have some type of aluminum wire here, so that gives you a date, but that probably goes to the range. You can see they put this metal piece here so that you wouldn't screw into the board and right into the wires. They needed to put it down a little further, it looks like, because it's kind of up. Either way, I'll try to reposition this wire because it's kind of in the way. Maybe I'll push it to this one side where the bigger one is. I need to do this outlet, so I think that's what I'm going to do next. Because I decided for the outlets on the ceiling to control the lights, I might as well get a, what do they call it, a double gang box to have 2 switches, because it'll just look nicer instead of having 2 separate ones. One for the outside light and then one for the lights in here. So that's where it sits currently. I think I'll try to work on this project. So I got the outlet up there, and I forgot to buy a cover for it. So I'm gonna have to go get a cover. But either way, it works. I have an outlet for the garage door opener and an outlet for the nightlight. So that works out perfectly. Oh, also got to clean up these wires. They're kind of all over the place, but that'll all get done as well. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the outlets on the ceiling. So I went and got this Square D brand breaker, because that is what my panel is. It's important to get whatever your panel is, and that's what mine is. So you can see it matches the rest of them. There's plenty of open space in here, so all we need is one. They should have left all these blanks in place so you can't reach in there, but for whatever reason they didn't. So we got our breaker because we want to make it a very, well, I want to have a nice high amp circuit, so we're going to have 20 amps here. That's going into our breaker. We'll have it come out. I'll have a switch immediately because I think that'll be easier than running a bunch of wire across the room and then back. So that's where we will begin. I need to get another box for this. Anyway, then we'll run it up and maybe I'll drill another hole, or maybe it'll fit. I'm not entirely sure how much space is in there or how much space to allow. And we'll run it over, and I've decided after much thinking about where to put these outlets. So I stood here and just looked at it for a while. Where am I going to put things? Where would I like to have things? And where should these outlets be so they're not really in the way? So I was originally thinking of having one about here in the middle of the camera and about here, but that's kind of close together. The cords on a typical light are about 6 feet, so you know there's plenty of room if I put something in the middle for it to reach to an outlet over here. The same goes for an outlet that I'd put over here. So what I've decided to do is put the outlets on the side. So I'm going to put an outlet on this side of the beam, probably out here a bit more. Try to cover a 6 foot, radius, so everything can get there without extension cords. That's my big thing. I don't want to have a bunch of extension cords around because that looks messy. We're going to run the wire to the back with all the other wires, so that looks neat. It goes with it instead of having it in the front here where things go up and down to store. And then have another outlet over here, and that'll be the end of that branch. So each box will have 2 outlets for a total of 4, and then another 4, so we'll have 8 outlets over here, all controlled by a switch for the lights and ceiling fans and all that awesome stuff. And like I said, I'll try to space them decently so that it can reach a wall, but it can also reach, over here. So I'm going to put one same type of idea as down there, but on this side of the beam. So it'll be real easy, run it up, we'll have our main junction box, we'll have another wire run over here to put one over here as well. So eventually, once this wall is gone, hopefully this weekend, it can be branched again into this room to be used again for more lighting. Now obviously it would be the best idea to have another switch over here, but then I'd have to get the wire that is for a 3-way switch, so you can have a switch on one wall and one on the other wall. And the switch that is still over here for the original sockets to the building, control a socket in this room and this light socket right here. So I can always use that to turn on this light to have enough to see to get over to the main switch to turn on everything else. So I think it'll be absolutely fine, and it uses the least amount of wire, so that's what I've decided to do. Now obviously I bought the connectors, or sorry, not the connectors, but the plates that hold the outlets. So those, let's see here, those are right here. So obviously these hold 4. Now I may have one that just has 2, so I might get, something different there. And then I did some research, because I don't know everything. And don't quote me on any of this. I highly encourage you to look up all of these things, in the National Electrical Code or whatever it is, to get the correct way to do electrical stuff. I highly recommend that you do that, because you want to do it to code and do it the best you can and well. Now there's probably some things that I do that aren't exactly to code, and feel free to point them out. I want people to know the right way to do it, so I'm going to try my best to do it here. Enough of that, we'll put that aside. So I got the boxes, obviously. I have the, oh, where did I put it? Anyway, I have the 12 gauge wire that is made for this circuit, because 12 gauge can do 20 amps. So we got that, but notice, I did pick something up in error. These are 15 amp outlets. And I'm not going to return them because you can always use an outlet for, you know, if one breaks or something. And I don't think it was that expensive for this pack of 10 anyway. So, of course, they do sell 20 amp packs like this, so I'm going to go pick those up. Got to use the appropriate stuff for the entire circuit. So that's where that stands. So I'm going to put these boxes up and get some wire up. And hopefully by that time we'll be out to get the correct outlets.